What's up, guys? We're here to talk about the Rode Go 2. Rode has made a revolutionary new take on what wireless audio can be. Not only does this little stereo transmitter receiver combo record two transmitters onto your camera or recorder, but each of these little guys actually has an onboard recorder which can record over 24 hours of audio. In this video, we're gonna check out all the features of this cool new piece of gear, what type of wedding filmmaker this is perfect for, and some weird quirks of the Rode Go 2 that might make the Tascam DR10 or the Zoom F2 a better fit for some wedding filmmakers. Let's dive into the Rode Go 2. So every once in a while, an idea comes along in the filmmaking gear world that truly is doing something unique. And I feel like this was true of the Rode Go V1, by the way. It was smaller, it was simpler to use than what was on the market. It just was totally targeted at a different audience, had the built-in mic. I think it really solved some problems, and it's proven to be an incredible tool for the vlogging crowd and even some wedding filmmakers. The Rode Go 2 continues down this same path by creating what is in many ways a totally new category of product in the wireless audio world, while also improving, I think, on some of the glaring weaknesses of the Go V1. The Go 2 has more range, up to 200 meters now. It's now stereo with the ability to output a -20 dB safety track, and even has the ability to record on board onto each of the transmitters. The built-in battery is up to 7 hours, which seems more than adequate, I think, for a wedding. I'm honestly trying to think of a device that can really do all this stuff, and I really can't think of a single other unit. It almost does everything a wedding filmmaker could ever want, but the key word is almost. Let's dig into those features, but before we do that, we'd love if you like, subscribe, hit the alert bell, do all the YouTube stuff. It really helps our content get to as many people as possible, and it's greatly appreciated. Thank you so much if you're already subscribed. You guys are awesome. You make wedding films cool. Cool. Oh. Did I mention that these things are tiny? This isn't something to overlook either, because being inconspicuous is one of the most important aspects of any wireless transmitter, especially at high fashion events where looking cool is of the utmost importance. It doesn't include a lav mic, by the way, so if you do not own one, you will need to grab one for the Rode Go 2 system, if that's the way you want to be using the Rode Go 2 transmitters. The stereo receiver has a bright, easy to read screen that shows all the essential information. It has a USB-C output for charging and connecting your computer, the SC15 USB-C adapter, and a 3.5-inch TRS output. There's also two physical buttons, one for adjusting the gain in 3-step or fine gain adjustment mode, and one for pairing and selecting a transmitter for muting. Holding both buttons together toggles on dual mono or stereo merged modes. Each of these little guys has a built-in mic as well. This is a feature I loved on the Rode Go 1, and I still think it's very valuable, despite the fact that I rarely use it, as I prefer to have a lav mic. I found that having the mics built in gives an added peace of mind, and if you forget a piece of equipment or something like that, it's great to have. And actually, they sound pretty decent. Let's check out how they sound. This is the audio coming out of the Rode Go 2 lav mic. This is the audio coming out of the Rode Go 2 built-in microphone. As you can see, it looks pretty slick. I can imagine there might be some scenarios where you can even hide it inside someone's coat, so let's try that out. This is the Rode Go 2 built-in mic hidden away inside my coat. See how it sounds? Not so bad. The integrated mic sounds pretty decent, but I still prefer to use a lav mic. The ability to use any mic I want and to get much closer to my subject, I just value it too much. But I've definitely used the built-in mic in a pinch, especially for running gun on the fly vlogging. I've even used this mic as a backup source for room sound at a wedding or maybe in a live stream. So get creative. You might actually find some uses for this built-in mic too that work into your workflow. Even if it's not the primary way you capture wireless audio with the Rode Go 2, I think it's a great feature. The Rode Go 2 uses new and improved Series 4 2.4 GHz digital transmission with 28-bit encryption for an improved range of up to 200 meters line of sight. So let's get out of here because I don't have 600 feet, and let's go test out this new range somewhere. Hey guys, so we're here at a football field. We're gonna test out the range of this thing. We're gonna be looking at how long it will go, and of course, does turning our back to this cause any signal breakup? How quickly does it reconnect when it loses connection? We have a lav mic on, and we're gonna be using the internal mic of the Rode with the included windscreen. While we do that though, let's hear about MusicBed. MusicBed is your all-in-one solution for licensing songs for your next wedding film. Make it easy, and they have an incredible selection. Not only can you license songs individually, but you can get a subscription and license all the music you want. Check out the link below, and you can get plugged in with the MusicBed with 1 free month of membership. Now that we've talked about MusicBed, I want to do a test I like to do with a lav mic where I can see how does being obstructed affect the signal. So I'm going to turn my back to the receiver and talk. Here I am with my back turned at about 30 yards. Here I am at about 50 yards. I'm facing the camera, I'm talking. I'm about 50 yards with my back turned. So as you can see, the Rode Central app puts these little red lines on there, and that's just when it's having issues connecting. It doesn't seem to totally drop out, but this is a good indicator where you may have some signal problems. Here I'm at about 75 yards facing the camera, turning around. Here I'm at about 75 yards with my back turned. Let's do 100 yards now. I'm walking, and one thing I've noticed is sometimes the farther away you get, it can lose connection a little bit. But again, like I said, it does seem to connect really quick once you lose connection. So let's see if it's connecting again, if I lost connection. Here I am at about 100 yards away. Here I am at about 100 yards away, obstructed. So as you can see, around 100 yards is when we really started having signal issues, or just really cutting in and out. So when you see the red lines, it doesn't always mean that you've had a total drop off, but it means there could be issues. So that's the Rode Wireless Go 2 range test. I have noticed when you turn your back and you do lose line of sight that it can lose connection, but one of the things I will report is that even at the farthest range, we've tested it about 600 feet in a random snowy field. Yeah, it seems to be working pretty good too, although I don't think you're ever gonna be recording someone this far away. I'm pretty impressed with the range. I think they've done a good job and they've definitely improved. One of the things that I always like to test is what happens when someone is in a building, like in a real world scenario, and the mic loses connection. So I'm gonna go off and I'm gonna try to make this thing break, and then we're gonna see how quickly it reconnects when I come back in. All right, here we go. We're just walking out. We're gonna go check out the rest of the studio. Oh look, it's the Wedding Film School show. So basically what I did is I ran out of the room, I ran through the basement, and I just ran around the block one time. We're outside. Let's see if we got a connection still. Probably in the middle, we lost signal pretty much right when I got outside, and it reconnected right when I turned the corner. Here we are. So the onboard recording is one of the features that I think most excited me when I read about the Rode Go 2, and I'm here to tell you, in some ways it doesn't disappoint. I'm also here to tell you, in other ways, it actually works kind of weird. The way recording on these things works, it's actually pretty simple. You just turn on the transmitter, and you turn on the receiver, and voila, you're recording in either compressed MP3s or uncompressed 24-bit WAV files. I think it takes a little time to get used to the fact that once you turn on both the receiver and the transmitter, this thing is rolling already. Careful what you say, guys, because this thing is just going. I think after you get used to it though, I'm okay with the implementation because the receiver has this nice display that lets me know my recording is active. The other weird quirk about the recording on this is that there is no external media used to record audio. It's all built in. So this is both a convenience and an annoyance, as we'll get into later. One thing to keep in mind is that the recording does stop once the receiver is turned off or runs out of battery. Ugh, that's a little scary. The onboard recording has over 24 hours of internal memory. This is the first thing that blew my mind when I looked at the specs. When I saw that it had the ability to record a safety channel, a la the Tascam DR10, I thought, why would anyone use anything but the Rode Go 2? It seems too good to be true. Well, kind of is. At the time, I had no idea how it would be implemented, and I'm sad to say that indeed, the dream of a do-it-all recorder with dual recording and the ability to transmit dual mono audio is still yet to be realized. See, the way that the safety channel works, it doesn't record it on the transmitter. It actually just outputs it via the receiver onto your recording device. That kind of bums me out because I'm getting this feature with the DR10 and I'm getting 32-bit float with the F2, so it doesn't really compete with either of those recorders when it comes to their safety channel. It's nice to have, I guess, but I can't see wedding filmmakers looking to use both transmitters to record a groom and an officiant or something like that, finding this feature super useful. It's kind of a bummer. Even though it doesn't replace the need some wedding filmmakers have to have a safety track or the convenience of 32-bit floating point recording, I think the Rode Go 2's recording capabilities are still an incredible feature that should find their way into many wedding filmmakers' kits. Now let's get down to the thing I find the most annoying about the Rode Go 2, and I think will actually turn off the most people from using it. And that's really, really terrible PC and app experience. See, this is the most frustrating thing about the Rode Go 2's recording feature. And it's really just a frustration with the system as a whole. Much of the Go's 2 core features are only accessible and therefore tweakable via the ridiculous Mac or PC app implementation, Rode Central. You can't simply plug it in and treat it like an SD card or an SSD where you just drag and drop media onto your hard drives or use your NLE's import menu to grab your files. No, you literally have to go into this app and export your files one by one. You can't even shift click and run a batch export. Design choices like this are huge UI and UX failures by manufacturers that just show that they just don't understand the workflows of the people that they're trying to sell this thing to. I get that you don't want us treating the Rode Go 2 like a hard drive or just external media or something, but please at least get a shift click so I can do a batch export on all the files I recorded at the wedding. Having to just individually click on one and click export and click on the next and click export and click on the next. The whole Rode Central experience feels clunky and unnecessary, yet Rode makes it necessary by forcing you to use the app to enable and adjust many of the Rode Go 2's best features. Recording doesn't even work out of the box. It must be enabled in the app. Recording quality must be adjusted in the app. The safety channel must be enabled, or more annoyingly, turned off in the app. This means you need a PC or Mac with you to make these adjustments. I can imagine being at a wedding day and looking at my device and being really ticked that I can't just fix it and do what I want with it. All this annoyance for what, Rode? Sure, it's nice to have the ability to see the spots where your signal dropped out in the waveform, but who's actually gonna use this app? Why is it helpful? Why do I need it? You can't even zoom out on the waveform. Am I saying the Rode Go 2 is terrible just because it has a terrible workflow in post or has a ridiculous, pointless app? No, in fact, despite its flaws, I still think for many, especially those who are both live streaming and recording weddings, for a highlight edit, the Rode Go 2 is actually the best option in wireless audio. The form factor is great. The battery life is stellar. The integrated microphone and recording features adds a ton of convenience and flexibility. And the fact that it can receive a stereo signal is actually incredible for such a small device. The Rode Go 2 is perfect for vloggers and people who need a quick setup on the go. If you're a Rode Go V1 user and you already love and use the Rode Go V1 and you just want more features, the V2 is a no-brainer to upgrade to. If you're a hybrid wedding filmmaker, live streamer, who needs a device that can transmit audio wirelessly and would like the additional comfort of recording functionality built in, the Rode Go 2 may be just what you're looking for. And of course, the Rode Go 2 is great for a wedding filmmaker who doesn't mind not having 32-bit floating point or a true safety track in the recording. They just want the smallest, easiest to use wireless stereo transmitter set available. Overall, the Rode Go 2 is an ambitious stab at something totally new, and in many ways, I'd say Rode is onto something here. Ultimately, I don't think the Rode Go 2 does enough to unseat the Zoom F2 as the best option for most wedding filmmakers. It's just the easiest way to capture audio and in the best way in many scenarios, but I think it comes close. For many, the compelling mix of features may be exactly what they have been looking for. And actually, I would really love it if they would give us a mobile app that would allow us to adjust some of these features as well. I think if Rode can make some of these changes, I think you're gonna have a real competitor for the best compact recorder for wedding filmmakers. I hope you enjoyed this review. For those interested in getting in-depth insight into wedding filmmaking, I would say check out our weekly show on YouTube or wherever podcasts are found, The Wedding Film School Show. And be sure to like, subscribe, and share this video. Now go out there and make some awesome wedding films.